What's up everyone, Hardcore here. We talked a lot about the issues surrounding Final Fantasy XIV. Now, in this video, before I start, I have to mention this. Disclaimer, some might find this story disturbing and bizarre. It happened to a friend and a viewer of the channel who has shared the story to me about what has transpired in both game and real life. And with that said, let's start the story. First, that friend, let me say who he is. He's that kind of person who really doesn't mind being around people. Who he is in relationships with people is something that he enjoys, like being around other people, like new people, his friends. He doesn't really mind anything. Also, he's kinda too sweet and gullible, I should say. But he is just a nice guy in general. So one day, he and his friends were running around like Lemsa, hanging out, having fun. Nothing really much is happening except for the usual. So one day he met a Lalafell that came up to them, and so one of his friends started noticing something about that Lalafell, about his behavior or behaving unnaturally, as they said. But to him it was normal. He didn't really think too much of it other than a fun interaction in-game. So they had fun, they did the usual emote and all that stuff. He didn't really think much of it. So one day he messaged one of his friends, which is a female that plays 14, sending her kind of weird messages, talking about how he needs a relationship. He's really a normal, like, lonely guy. He needs the attention that he deserves, all that crap. So one day, his friend, the female, told him that this Lalafell needs to stop messaging her because he sounds like a creep who wants something from her. And he was like, well, yeah, sure, he might not really mean anything by it, but go ahead, you can just like remove him, not really pay attention to him. It's gotten to the point where he started messaging all of his friends on Discord, not just in-game, like whenever they come in or log in, he started, hey, let's hang out, hey, let's do some stuff, hey, I need to do this. But like, they didn't really think much of it until he started like telling them about his, like, he needs a relationship, he's a lonely guy, he really needs somebody if they're willing, like, haha, like, I'm only joking, I really don't mean anything by it. But they were like, hey, listen, like, none of us are interested in you, but it's fine if we're like friends and all that, but you need to stop messaging us every day about this stuff. Like, honestly, your real life issues and relationships shouldn't be talked about in-game. That's just up to you. And he kinda got angry about that stuff. So in his mind is like, well, why don't you guys like support me? I need a girlfriend, I need somebody to take care of me in real life. He, like, the messages on Discord started to get worse and worse. And in-game he came across one of his friends, that female friend, and he started messaging her, telling her, hey, look at your DM. Check your DM with a smiley face. And she was like, oh God, now what? Like, another relationship thing you want to talk about? When she looked in her DMs, it was his private part. And she was like, yeah, this guy is sick. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? This is not acceptable. I'm gonna report you. Don't do that. And the next thing, he DM'd her with his character modded with private parts. You know what I mean? It's like he added like a private part naked to his Lalafell character, which is kinda creepy and disturbing, to say the least. Like, it shouldn't happen like that. Like, why would you do that? It's kinda gotten to the point where you're getting way too comfortable about this stuff with the people around you. Like, you should be friendly with the new people that you see in game. So the friend was like, yeah, we need to mass report him. This stuff is not acceptable. This stuff needs to stop. He started abusing them. He started telling them, hey, if you're something like insulting them, telling them, hey, you're only ignoring me. You're not paying attention to me. I'm lonely and all yada yada. The same thing. And some guy was telling the friend that he saw him in Limsa looking up skirts of other female character. Like, he goes around looking down at people, taking pictures, sending pictures to them modded with the naked and all that stuff. And so he was like, yeah, we need to mass report him to actually do something about this stuff. So they did just that, and after like a week maybe, they wanted to see if their report actually did something. Come to think of it, when they added him in their friends list again, when it comes to friends list in this game, like, it happens in one way. Like, you can't remove that person entirely. Like, let's say if I remove somebody in my friends list, I'm not removed from their friends list. So it's only the one way. All they can do is just report and hope for the best, which is, like, Square Enix, as far as I know, they don't really tell you if they removed that person or your report actually went through. That's about it. So they decided to do the reports, and all they thought about was like, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, just be careful, block that guy, don't really pay attention to him. And they just did that. And after a week and a half maybe, the friend messages, one of his friends messages him and tells him, hey, some people told me that he was like removed from the game, or his account was deleted, because we showed him with the report the messages that he sent on Discord, like an actual email. And with that, they actually got rid of the problem because of the mass reports. Like, if one person reports that kind of stuff, I don't think something would happen in that case. That it has to be like a lot of people, which is kind of, again, kind of a flawed thing in the game. Or it might be just that one time, who knows? But all I'm saying is, like, be careful. Like, people like this exist in games. It happens a lot, as far as we know. So all I'm saying is, be careful when you see the major red flag. Don't really pay attention to too much of it. Just stay away from it. Don't be fooled by the kind of person who seems like he is nice, but kind of have a weird behavior. Or what do you think, Kaiser? Do you think the same thing?
Yeah, and I have a feeling people out there are gonna, go, oh, Lalafels again. Why is it always Lalafels? Well, I mean,
Oh yeah.
we we've talked about this person different from the one that Hart's talking about, but we've talked about this person a lot. They were involved with the slap. They were involved with Sigma and his old his account. This guy would play as a Lalafell and would go running around Limsa Laminsa,
Oh
and
yeah.
he'd just say, "Oh yeah, it's upskirt city here." This is a very big thing, especially I feel with not all of the Lala community, but there is probably a much bigger community that's hiding within the Lalafell
Right.
community that will just run up to somebody. We've all had it. Somebody comes up, they stop and they stare at you to look at your glam. But Lalafells have a different perspective because of their height. They're shorter than every other race. Even the tallest ones are still shorter
Yeah, I
than
think it
even the shortest Lalafells.
depends on your character. Your perspective is different.
Yep. So they can run up and see anything from anywhere, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I know in the past with a lot of things we've had is, kind of just really not a creepy thing, but just kind of like you had Lalafels and they would hide under the dress like little kids or whatever. When it's among close friends, it's one thing. When it's among somebody who has ulterior motives, is a completely different thing.
That's right. It's just, I'm starting to think it always happens with Lalafell, but that's not always the case. It's
No,
just the
because
person playing it.
yeah, yeah. It's the people behind the characters, not the actual
Exactly,
not
because
just
you
the
you
character
represent
itself.
your character. You're the
Mm-hmm.
one playing the character, not the character that has the flaws.
Right.
Like, all in all, that's what we think. And again, be careful in game. Don't be fooled with the people trying to act nice and then they start talking about something way too comfortable talking to you about this stuff. And with that said, let me know what you guys think in the comments or if you have similar situations. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.